There's nothing much complicated about renaming layers or making layers with naming them as you go, keeping organized layers. All of this stuff is pretty straightforward, but there are some gotchas along the way. If I tell you to double click on the name and do so without saying anything more, I bet over half of you will get this. And what's the difference between that and this? The difference is where you double click. Now, if all I want to do is rename this layer, my cursor goes directly over the type. Then when I double click, not only is that type highlighted, it's ready to roll. And I can just type. I don't have to hit delete. 99% of kids will hit delete before they start typing. Why? It's highlighted. A word is highlighted, just type over it. You don't have to hit delete. So if I hit return now, this is now called BG for background. And the background layer typically is where color goes. What is the base color of everything you're working on? Sometimes there is a base color, sometimes not. It depends on what the end product is. For this particular project, we are going to have a background layer, so I want you to name it BG. Now, if I double click out here, you get this layer options dialog box, which lets you rename the layer, and it's already highlighted so you don't have to hit delete. See, the program's trying to help you. Also, it says color, light blue. Well, this isn't light blue, this is white. This is the color of the highlight when you select something. Let me show. You hit cancel. You just grab the rectangle tool, and I'll drag out a big old rectangle. And you might say, well, nothing looks weird about that. If I click away, this is, see where it says path? I'm going to zoom in on it for you. See path? Illustrator works with paths. This is a closed path with anchors at every corner. And it looks like no fill, but it has a fill. It is filled with white. It has a black stroke on the outside. Where's the light blue? The light blue, if I select this, and I don't have to click on the path to select it, because this is a fill, I can click right here. The light blue is the highlight. If we double click here and change this light blue to something else and click OK, you notice what just happened. Let me click away to deselect and then select. Notice now this is red. What is the point of the colored highlight? Well, when you have lots of layers in Illustrator and not, 20, 30, 50, 300 like I did, but you got a half dozen layers. If you know the color of the layer, you know what you've selected, which layer it's on without looking. This is one of those clues. But if there's a lot of red on this layer, you're not going to really be able to see the highlight. So that's why you go in here and double click and change the highlight to something that's going to work better for you. Do you understand? So that has to do with the layer options and the color. We're not talking about any of this stuff yet, okay? We're just talking about the color of the highlight, which is over here when something's selected. If I hit cancel, or I'll just click OK, you can see if I click away and nothing's selected, there's nothing over here. Last tip. If I want to select everything on this layer, here, let me make a couple more rectangles, okay? So you can see. And then I'm going to go back, click away so nothing is selected. You can see I can select one thing, click away to deselect, or I can click on, this is called the meatball, this little round circle. I know, It's called a meatball. If I click on it, not only are all three things selected, we get a bounding box that is this larger rectangle, which encompasses everything that's selected, and we get to see what color this is. We know that something is selected. See how the meatball looks? If I click away, see how it looks? If I click on one item, notice how the meatball didn't change, but we have this little icon here. Click on the meatball. See how the icon got bigger because more things were selected? That lets you know everything's selected. This takes time to get to know. But you saw something as simple as renaming a layer reveals other features which in the long run, I don't expect you to remember all this. The only thing I expect you to remember is how to rename the layer and maybe change the highlight color. But for right now, I need you to remember that there's always more to learn than the single skill I'm trying to help you learn in the different videos, in the different missions. Do you understand? And we're going to build up slowly but surely with these complex, interconnected, interweaving skill sets until months from now, all of this is second nature to you, and you will wield Illustrator and Photoshop like a knife and fork. You know how to use them. It just comes naturally. And it's so much fun.